5 life lessons that I learned in my 20s. People don't deserve access to you. Protect your peace. Focus on you. If he wanted to, he would. Ruined my career. I made a huge mistake. Mid-20s, that's when I felt really lost. Don't spend time focusing on what other people are doing. Hi guys, it's Cynthia. Welcome back to my channel. Your girl is officially 30. I'm in a new decade. I said this in one of my previous vlogs, but it's so crazy that I'm finally 30 because I feel like so many of my friends are 30, so I feel like I've been 30 for a while. But at the same time, I remember when I was younger, I was like, oh my god, 30 is so old. So now that I'm 30, I also don't feel 30 because I still feel really young and fun. I had the best 30th birthday. Tim surprised me with a really nice dinner at Single Thread in Healdsburg. It's 3 Michelin stars. Been on my restaurant bucket list for the longest time. So that was such a cool experience. On my actual birthday, he actually surprised me with a fortune teller, and then we had dinner with my sister at one of my all-time favorite restaurants, Huang. And then that following weekend, I hosted a 30th birthday dinner party with a bunch of my friends. A lot of them flew in from out of town to come to my baby shower, which was the next day. So it was the perfect weekend, lots of celebrations. I'll link both those videos down below. But in this video, what I really wanted to talk about are some of the lessons I learned in my 20s. I feel like your 20s are just such a transformative decade. You leave college, you start working, your friendships change, relationships change. You go from single to in a relationship to maybe engaged and married. It's honestly just such a crazy decade with some of the highest highs and some of the lowest lows. But when I look back, I am just so grateful for every experience in my 20s and all the trials and tribulations that I went through to get me to where I am now. So since I've gone through the decade, I thought I would pass on a little bit of wisdom and share 5 life lessons that I learned in my 20s. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you find it helpful. Don't forget to like if you want more sit-down advicey videos like this. Subscribe down below if you aren't already. Share this with one of your friends in her 20s, and let's get on into the video. So the first life lesson is to focus on you. I feel like especially coming out of college, you're in this mindset where you're just constantly comparing to people, which is extremely unhealthy and can really cause you to be unhappy. As they say, comparison is the thief of joy. I remember in my early 20s when I was still in college and just post-grad, I was constantly keeping tabs on what other people were doing, making sure I was keeping up, and I cared so much about what other people thought of me. In reality, just because I was doing what other people were doing, it didn't make me happy, but I just did it anyways because it was what was normal and right. One of the biggest examples of this is the career that I first chose, which was banking. Remember in college, I was always really fascinated by marketing and PR. In school, I felt really pressured in the business world to go into accounting, banking, consulting, the ABCs. Once I started going down that rabbit hole of doing those internships, then I was so committed to getting a full-time job from one of those banks. So I felt like I was just going with what was socially acceptable and not really reflecting on my internship and being honest with myself, like, did I even enjoy that? And all of that really shifted when I left banking within a year. I was so unhappy. I didn't see my friends. I didn't work out. And it was just so overwhelming for me. So I quit. And I remember people literally telling me like I ruined my career. I made a huge mistake. And my self-confidence was really at an all-time low. And I just felt really embarrassed. I went from like being so proud that I was working at JP Morgan to I couldn't handle it and I quit and now I have no job. So I took some time to really think about like what I wanted to do next, and I kind of went 180. I decided to do something that I've always been really interested in. I ended up landing a role at Benefit Cosmetics on their strategic marketing team. And I think going through that process, I was so kind of embarrassed and a little bit ashamed of that job switch, going a non-traditional route. It kind of just taught me that it really doesn't matter, like who cares what other people think of you. And for the most part, people really aren't thinking about you. And as long as you are happy in your day-to-day, that is most important. It was also interesting because even though I was doing a non-traditional job, I actually ended up having a lot of people come to me being like, wow, that's such a cool job. That's such a dream job. Honestly, grass is always greener on the other side. Just focus on you, what makes you happy. At the end of the day, that's the most important. Something I really try to do, especially early on in my 20s, and I've kind of gotten used to it now, is just put on blinders. Don't spend time focusing on what other people are doing. Just do you and focus on yourself, because that is going to bring you the most focus and success and happiness in your own life. Now, the second lesson is it is okay to feel lost. I feel like I spent a lot of my 20s feeling really lost. I'm here to tell you that that's absolutely normal and okay. Obviously, with the career example I just shared, I felt super lost in my career. I think that was particularly in my early 20s, like right out of college, post-grad. My mid-20s, that's when I felt really lost with my friendships. The reason being, you're in college, you're surrounded by all these people that you see almost every single day. You live in close proximity to them, and it's just so easy to like bump into people, see people, get together. Once you graduate, it's really not like that. A lot of your friends might have moved away. Even within the same city, you still have to go out of your way, make an effort to see your friends, and you really start to notice who are the friends who really value you and will put in that effort. And same for yourself, like who are the people you will go out of your way to make time and effort for. Kind of alongside that, I feel like just seeing your friends dwindle down. In college, you might have had like 20 best friends to now you might only have 5 that you see very regularly that you feel like you can count on. I think that decline in friends, that was pretty hard for me because I was like, who am I hanging out with now? Honestly, with that decline in friendships, you're left with a lot of extra time to yourself. So you kind of have to figure out like, what do you want to do with that extra time? Are there hobbies you want to develop? Are there things about yourself you want to uncover? I feel like I did a lot of that when I was younger. I was so extroverted. So I was just like clinging on to people to hang out with and trying to make plans with people who I wasn't even that close to, but I wanted to deepen my friendship with. So I kind of looked back and I was like, okay, who in college was I, semi close to, but maybe we never really had a chance to build out our friendship. Are these people I want to reach out to and try to become even closer with them? I definitely grew closer to a bunch of people because of that like proactiveness. Honestly, even with that, you kind of just hit a limit. I spent some time by myself, which was really like scary for me. Being so extroverted, I was like, I can't believe I'm by myself. I have no plans. At first, it made me really sad, but eventually I was like, okay, this is a good opportunity for me to learn more about who I am, who I want to become, like things I want to invest my energy into. So I felt like I got really good at keeping up my health. I did a ton of workout classes. That was where I really channeled all my energy. I got really good at yoga. I was doing headstands at one point. All the core power classes, C2, yoga sculpt. I was doing ritual hot yoga, Pilates, learned boxing. I was doing berries. So I kind of threw myself into fitness classes and really built some like confidence through going to those classes. I tried to read more and I started social media. Third lesson I want to share is just say yes. Just say yes. I think in your 20s, it's your chance to really just try it all and to be fearless. You really can't go wrong with any decision that you make. If you try a job out and you don't like it, you can quit and find a new one. Like, you're not stuck in any career path. If you go on a date and you don't like him, that's totally fine. That's the point of dating. But who knows? You might actually end up meeting a long-term boyfriend and that person might be your fiance or your husband one day. You just never know. And I think that's one of the most scary but also beautiful things. You don't know how your life is gonna pan out. I didn't know I was gonna meet Tim on Bumble. You just have to keep putting yourself out there, because had I never would have met the man who would become my lifelong partner. You just have to continue putting yourself out there, and you just have to say yes to every opportunity, because you just never know what you're gonna learn, who you're gonna meet. I feel like I'm kind of spiritual in that way, where I just kind of trust fate. If this opportunity is literally being presented right in front of me, maybe there's something I was supposed to learn from this, or someone I was supposed to meet from this. The fourth lesson is that good friends, like truly good friends, good people, they're really hard to come by. So when you find someone who just fills your cup, who you just vibe with and connect with on a deep level, hold on to those people, because they are true gems. Like I mentioned already, coming out of college, you have so many friends, but are those lifelong friends? Like friends who are going to be with you through the ups and downs, friends who are going to put in the effort and the time, friends who you're going to be able to grow with through every stage of life. From when you're going out dating, you're starting your new job, to when you're more established in your career, you might be engaged, married, having kids. Like, who are those people who are going to stand by you and support you through every phase of life? Naturally, leaving college, it kind of weeds out a bunch of people. And I really believe it's so hard for you guys to coordinate time. If someone's not reciprocating, you're always the one to reach out. If you don't feel great leaving a hangout with this person, Like, it's too difficult. It shouldn't be that hard. Yes, maintaining friendships is hard. You have to put an effort to text each other, meet each other. But it really shouldn't be impossible to find that time. Saying if he wanted to, he would. It's the same thing with girlfriends. So if it's so difficult, what does that say? But I really do feel like the older I'm getting, less I care about the quantity of friends that I have. Especially as you get older, you just have less time. You have a husband, you have kids, whatever. Like, life just gets busy. So I don't need that many friends, but I want every single friend to be a quality friend. Like a friend that invests in me just as much as I invest in them. A friend that cares, a friend that remembers, a friend that shows up. And I feel like this leads us really well into my 5th lesson, which is protect your peace. Kind of takes us back to rule number 1, where just focus on you. Protect your peace, focus on you. This is your life. Create the life that you want and protect yourself. Surround yourself with people who uplift you and support you, who make you feel good, who make you feel like you can be yourself. Why be around drama? Why be around people who are not treating you well, who don't value you? That I feel like is just such a waste of time and energy. And I feel like this is really a lesson that I really learned kind of in my late 20s, but just protect your soul, protect your heart, protect your time. You are so valuable. Remember that. Your time and energy, your love is valuable, and people don't deserve access to you unless you feel good around them, unless you want them around you. It's funny because definitely like all my life and pretty much into my mid 20s, I'd say I'm definitely a people pleaser. Even now that still comes out, but I feel like I'm finally in my like villain era in the best way possible, where I'm just like, if you're not a good friend to me, I'm cutting you out. We can choose who we want around us. Personally, for me, I choose to have people around me who support me and inspire me, who make me feel loved and good, and who I can be my true self with. So those are kind of my 5 top lessons that I learned in my 20s. Let me know if you guys enjoy this video, and if you want to see more of these like advicey videos, maybe I can also do like a Q&A. I can have you guys submit questions on my Instagram, and then I'll compile them and answer them in a YouTube video. Comment down below your age. I'm so curious how many of you are in your 20s still. I really enjoyed making this video. I had a great time reflecting on my 20s and kind of compiling these 5 lessons. Hope you found this helpful. If you did, make sure to hit that like, subscribe if you aren't down below, and I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye!